Okay, let's see. Is this live? Is this live? I think it is. I think it is live. There we go. Sorry, quick audio check. Make sure the music's not too loud. Pause the music for a second. Okay, that's a little low. Can be a little louder. Testing, testing. Bear with me here. Okay, that's good. Sufficiently tested. Okay, minimize that window. Sorry, I haven't done this OBS stuff in a little while. If you're surprised to see the stream, so am I, because I've been so busy lately. I haven't had any good samples either. So happy to be here. Let me start the music back up. Okay, so as the title says, pond water samples from the Junior Museum in Palo, my old stomping ground. Worked there for 25 years on the weekends. Also worked at Palo Baylands around the same time near the end of that period. And I get a lot of samples from there too because it's an amazing place. Nice salt marsh set up. See if anyone shows up. I haven't done anything on this channel in a while. And might not get anyone showing up. Make sure you keep your channels active, otherwise people will ignore it. Okay, so starting out with a basic boring slide for calibration purposes, make sure the exposure was good and that focus is okay. And so you can see there's an air bubble in there. Zoom in a little bit digitally. You can cheat a little bit and use less eyepiece changes or objective changes. Just gonna double check that everything is pretty sharp there. That's not too bad. Okay. So, oh, that one's a little off actually. Yeah, it's not as. My eyepiece view is a little off from my camera view. Give me a second here. This happens sometimes. That's good there. Let me focus this again. I'm going to calibrate this camera manually. That's better. Now they look the same. All right. So, music courtesy of JX3D as usual. Go to JX3D on Bandcamp and get all these albums made by Henrik. He's a good guy in Denmark, and he does a periodic weekend stream on his channel on YouTube and talk about kinds of music topics called the Senior Synth Stream, because we're all kind of all getting up there, all getting close to our 50s-ish. And so, Senior Synth Stream. It's good stuff. Get some famous people coming through there once in a while too, which is nice. They're famous in the industry anyway. May not be famous musicians or artists, as you would say, but famous to us. So I already scanned the slide a little bit. It's kind of boring. Not much going on. use this one first set up to calibrate. See, it's already getting some crystallization there from the salts as the slide is starting to dry. So nothing on this one. It's just like various bits of plant material, plant stems and stuff breaking down. Looks like a few potential animal hairs in there as well. Might be some feather fragments as well, since it's from a pond with water birds in it. Yeah, that's a very boring slide. So again, mainly used to set up the stream. So let's grab another one. I agitated the water sample. Try and get a little dispersion. I need to get one of those cheapy centrifuges you can buy on Amazon for like 40 bucks. You put the tubes in there and give it a quick spin, and everything's gently lodged over to one side without killing anything. You don't have to put it on the highest speed. It's a quick way to get your sample isolated without hurting the critters. I'll verify that the chat on OBS is the same as the chat on the channel. Sometimes it isn't. Things get weird sometimes. Yeah, it's still the same. Nobody's here. Okay. Let's see if I can get another sample. Maybe this will be better. There's not a lot of floaters in the thing. Usually that's a good indication there's some stuff because of debris. Things clinging to debris and such. And again, they do a very good job cleaning that pond. But unfortunately that means there's less cool things to look at. Let's see. Come on, cover slip. Sometimes they stick together. There we go. Another problem with this stuff as you get into this, if you haven't done microscopy stuff before or made your own slides, is brand new slides and cover slips come out of the box all kind of smudgy and dusty and stuff. It's like there's like fine material on it. You can never just pick them out and use them. You have to clean them first with a cloth or a paper towel. Alright, let's see what we got here. Let's go back to a lower power. Drop the light a little bit here. Just get a little bit of the diaphragm in there. It's okay. I'm just using it to quickly check the area. What do we got here? This particular camera I'm using, I'm not using my good mirrorless Nikon camera. I'm using USB camera, which is decent, but it's not very good with auto anything. So right now I have the light set a little too hot. I'm having to quickly adjust everything with the diaphragm on the stage. Just some debris here. Looks like a tiny piece of a feather there. I'll zoom in on that. There you go. Looks like a little piece of a feather. There's a little flagellate in there, a little tiny sphere bouncing around, very small, and moving way too much to zoom in on it to see much. So, but there is some life on the slide. It's good. definitely some pieces of feathers. So I think what you're seeing there, the feather structure, you have barbs and barbules, and I believe that's a barbule because it's hooked. Or is it the barb that's hooked? You know, it's been a while since I studied feather anatomy on a bird, but it allows things to stay together. Not quite like a zipper, but gives the feather some structure. So it has little hooks. Make that a little dark, a little brighter. It's too dark. Some contrast here. There you go. A little better. Let's see, those are hooked there a little bit. Or as they say in some biology term, falcated means hooked. So I believe that is I guess that's a barb. Again, I have to double check, but yeah, definitely a little hooked structure. Some of these are more straight, so they're either damaged or they're the other part that it grabs onto when it's wrapped around in the proper feather orientation. But it's nice and transparent. Your feathers are made of keratin, just like your fingernails and your hair, protein. Pretty cool. So no living stuff yet, but something to look at. So that little flagellate, that was kind of cool. Let me zoom back out. Let's use a little oblique lighting on the feather. That looks a little cooler now. Makes it pop. Let me zoom in digitally so I can take advantage of that filter. Sometimes the filters like certain magnifications. So you can see the hooks right there. Hey, what's up, man? It is kind of cool, isn't it? Feather structure on microscope. Yeah, it's I haven't had a chance to crack this stuff out now. I've been so busy and I haven't even gotten to collect any samples, but I went to visit my friend at the zoo where I used to work and got a water sample from him and said, hey, I'm gonna try my best in the next day or so to do a stream to show you some cool stuff. So far, that's all I found is a feather and a little flagellate swimming around. Nothing to speak of. But the last few times I got samples from this pond. Some of the best slides I've ever made doing this for, 30, 40 years. Right from that pond, it was stunning. So many different species of critters, from amoeba to paramecium, gastrotrix, someone called Paranema, which is really cool. Like this little proboscis that kind of feels around like it's a blind person's cane. And this is all like plant material on the sides. It's nothing special. There's an air bubble. Another air bubble. Got some more plant material there. Nothing too exciting. Let me digitally zoom out a bit because it starts to get too fuzzy on some of the stuff if we got too close. Yeah, it's an air bubble there. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Lots of air bubbles. That could be a piece of a feather. It's quite spiky on one end. Yeah, a lot of plant material. You can see the kind of texture on the outside of the. Might be some little roots or rootlets on the plants, root hairs, whatever. Nice to find an nematode or something. But lots of other stuff. This oblique lighting's fun. It gives you that 3D pop, almost like an X-ray in a way. Now this is the more of a dark field approach here. So you really get that translucency and the pop, structure pop. Just like black and white photography, it gives you like a really nice contrast. Just not seeing anything living. Some cool artifacts here as stuff is starting to crystallize on the sides. You get these little crystals growing. You can also see the cover glass is actually not perfectly smooth. It's a little jagged. Alright, what else we got? Anything? So far, no. Moving stuff except for that one little guy bopping around. It was way too fast and too small to follow. Oh, there he is again. See him in the background? Now he's light colored on the dark background. Tumbling around, in and out of focus. There's way too much Z-axis on this. And you put too much water on a slide. So you got to constantly focus up and down just to follow the buggers. More light there, you can see him better. He's quick. You can tell by the motion, it's got this kind of a wobbly motion as it goes forward because it's based on a flagellum, so they're called flagellates. It's a general group of single-celled animals and plants. Usually animals, but oh, I'm getting a here we go, kind of condenser view. See the veins in there, kind of like you get in a telescope. Change the condenser a little bit, and now the image is a little bit different. Okay, yeah, this slide's a bust. Yeah, let's go grab another one. Water's too damn clean. This is one of JX3D's kind of a more experimental, noisy albums. Kind of noise music mixed with ambient. A lot of texture. Alright. Mosquito egg. Sorry, I just saw the comment. I'd have to find them. So you have to go to a known body of water that's been there long enough. Whether it's a planter full of water like the tray, or puddles usually don't last long enough. They're too ephemeral. So you'd have to find a pond or a small, someone's like little lily pond in their yard or something like that. But there's a city county ordinance or whatever, vector control, wants to minimize mosquitoes. So I don't know if they still are kind of anal about this or not, but they prefer you to have mosquito fish in your pond. So it's a species called Gambusia something, I forgot the species name, but the genus is Gambusia, and they eat mosquito larvae specifically. So you won't find them as much as you used to find them, because people are trying to minimize mosquitoes because of irritating bites. We don't get the malaria type mosquitoes here, but they do get them in Southern California, from what I heard, occasionally. And they carry more than malaria. They can carry other stuff too. But generally that's in the tropics, but I've heard with climate change the way it is and all that good stuff, some things are migrating either by human activity and surviving where they go, or just naturally migrating over time over land masses and stuff like that. So that's, it would be much harder than it used to be, I would say, to find mosquitoes. I've never actually seen any. I've looked at a lot of ponds and other water features. Alright, let's see if we got anything cool here. Seen some movement, but that's just the water situating itself under the cover glass. Capillary action. Moving some particles around. See, I put a little too much water on the slide again. See, the edges are really sloshing. It's a little too much water. Alright, let's get a little more light here. A little more light. There we go. Alright, see if we can find anything. And there's tons of debris. And this happens sometimes. You just get a bunch of water and pieces of junk, detritus, and nothing fun to look at. Nice air bubble there. Done some streams in the past where it's like space art. It's actually really playing with the condenser, playing with the diaphragm, and different light settings and stuff, and got some really cool shots that look like space art. Tell people it's from space and not a microscope, they would believe you. Junk, junk, junk. To tell them they're doing too good of a job keeping that pond clean. Not finding any good critters in here. And this is a cool thing with the kind of oblique lighting, is you get that kind of a 3D. See how the water looks like a gradient ramp. You get a sheen out of it that you would not get if it's just normal bright light, bright field microscopy. I'll show you here as I go through the settings. So this is cutting that off there. And so the diaphragm is totally closed. You partly open it, you get this oblique lighting. And then if you play with the filters, you can get all this kind of almost like a polarizing effect. So you can kind of customize the view that you want. So it's kind of fun. So now it's dark field. Much better on a DIC microscope, the differential interference contrast, which started about $5,000. Would love to get one, but they're just too expensive. But they're superior. The optics are amazing. You have a prism in there. You can rotate, get different colors. They'll have to use color filters. You can do fluorescence microscopy with an add-on and make certain compounds fluoresce in plants and animals. Very cool. And you can do phase contrast. I have a phase contrast set, but I haven't had a chance to use it yet. Maybe next stream I'll do a phase contrast stream. Gotta change out all the optics. Yeah, another boring slide. What can I say? Water's too clean. See if I can agitate it a little bit. Maybe get some more action out of it. Alrighty. Try and make another one. Okay, so we got ooh, that cover glass is broken. Look at that. It's totally broken off the edge there. Zoom out a tad. Oh, that is zoomed out. Okay. Okay, with the lighting you can see that. It's just broken. Edge of the glass is just broken right off. Alright, let's see what I can see. That one's broken too, huh? Right off on the bottom. Let's go see what we got over here. There's not much to look at. There's a nice little arc of bubbles. That's kind of cool. A lot of artistic shapes tonight in lieu of actual living specimens to look at. Here's a piece of, this is probably part of their krill diet that they get. See that reddish color right in the middle? It's the carotenoids. that's so flamingos eat this, and that's where they get their pink color from. Large quantities of these shrimps, little micro shrimps, and they get their color right out of that. Won't be much to see if I go too close, but I'll try it anyway. Very intense color. Now I understand why flamingos have that color. Their food is very intensely colored. Alright, let's go back out and scan a little bit more. Maybe I'll find something alive. Fix this. There we go. Lots of tissue and no critters. Some tissue from something. Not sure what. Well, I'm going to make one more slide and call it, because this is the most boring samples I've ever had. But it happens. It's part of the excitement. It's never completely exciting. Sometimes you get way too much in one evening. You can't even keep track of all the stuff you saw. And other nights you see almost nothing. You start enjoying the air bubble patterns and the shapes of weird decaying tissue, plant tissue and other stuff, just for artistic merit, because there's nothing else to look at. But hey, we got JX3D's music, so fingers crossed this one will be a winner. More tissue. Something. Very transparent. Ooh, there you go. That's definitely a piece of a feather. Check that out. Now you're talking. Let's go a little closer. So there's little sections in the center of the center shaft of the feather. There's some interesting little dark sections and repeating patterns. Almost looks like a spinal column. Something about the growth of the development of the feather. Interesting. Can zoom here digitally a little bit without ruining the image. Potentially. And it's not so fuzzy. Back out a little bit. Go a little higher, see some of these other bits. Let's try changing the view here. And that's your typical view most people have on a microscope. Bright field. Shows a lot more of the structure. Let's try to zoom in a little bit more, see what we get. So there's a repeating pattern I was talking about. It's almost like a spinal column. Some sections are dark. See the how the little branches look like they are sheathed, almost like I've seen plant material looks like this, like wheat and barley. The flower heads and stuff can look like this too. Kind of sheathing action. Zoomed out all the way here. It's a little clearer. So to keep focusing through, you can see the stuff as you go up the little branches, you can see this sheathing as it advances forward. Little pointy bits sticking out. And at the very end, you have the ultimate little pointy bits there. Pretty wild. Can't remember last time I looked at a feather under the scope. Let's get some air bubbles here. When you put the feather in the file, I was hoping to find some little things clinging to the feather. I'm just seeing a lot of junk. Nothing alive. It's too bad. So that last one was 400 power. Now we're back to 40 power. Fix this. It's too bright now. So yeah, wish I found some living stuff down here. Just a couple little guys bopping around, but too small and too fast to get a chance to study. So, but some other interesting things to look at. This goes to show, even when it's a kind of a boring sample, you can still get some fun out of it. So with that, I'm going to call the stream. Normally I'd be going for a while, but I have some stuff to do, and I'm not really getting much progress with the slides. So, but I still had fun. It's good to get back into the swing of it. Haven't done one of these in a while. So stay tuned for more. I'll be doing some more hopefully soon. I get some more free time and find some good samples. That was not a good sample, but you never know until you try. Just gotta stay positive and do what you can to make the most out of your situation. The old life gives you lemons, you make lemonade thing. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. Saw at least one of you in here, so it's nice to see somebody show up. My channel's been dead here for a while. Most of my work has been on my music channel. And my astronomy channel is definitely about as dead as this one, maybe more dead. I need to get more time to. The weather's been bad, and again, time. I'm doing a lot of working at night lately, so when I should be looking at the stars, I'm out doing stuff. So, again, thanks again to JX3D for the nice background music. Go check out his page on Bandcamp, JX3D, just like it sounds. And he has, I don't know, he has a lot of albums. Maybe 10? I forgot. I have some demos up there on another name, but don't use it that much. Most of my stuff's on YouTube. So anyway, thanks again, everybody who's watching this after the fact or who's here live for a bit. And appreciate everyone showing up and exploring some cool micro worlds with me, and maybe learn some stuff. Hopefully, I always learn stuff when I do it, and I've been doing this forever. So, thanks again, everybody. Have a good one.